welcome to today's webinar. And I okay, great. Yes. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Rena. Thank you all. I did leave a message earlier. I don't know if you saw it, that I really want you to think about questions that pertain to your doubts and to your needs, because this really is a customized webinar just for you. Again, welcome. I am thrilled to be here with you and for you. I was so looking forward to this webinar today because I've missed you guys, and quite frankly, I feel like, I really want to be part of your life, and I really want to be here for you, because the number one thing that's most important to me is that you succeed in achieving what you're out to achieve, and bettering your life, your health, your love, in bettering your work, your finances, whatever it is. You deserve to have it all. And I'm hoping that with the tools that we share with you, you're able to achieve those outcomes more effectively and faster and in a more joyous way. And I think it's really important. Now, I know that, and it is the case that I said I'm kind of toning down a little bit because, I think the pandemic to some degree kind of really propelled me to move more and more in this direction. But I was already thinking about it now, approaching 70 years of age. My husband is 70. I'm going to be 70 in a few months. We had already made our minds that we would go into a kind of a slow retirement, and spend more time together with, of course, each other, because I used to travel so much that I was always gone and away. And my husband always supported me in that because he believes in the work that I do. He believes in the civil method, and he believes how it does raise the quality of life because he's experienced it, or I should say, we've experienced that together. And now, of course, our family is growing. We have more grandchildren, and I just found out just last week that we have another one on our way who lives just around the corner, literally from us. So we spend a lot of time with them and caring for our family and grandchildren. So I'm enjoying everything about my life, but I miss you guys. I really miss you. And I feel like being probably one of the oldest living silver practitioners who was literally born into the silver method at its height of its development. I was born in 54, and my father started his research in 44. So by the time I was born, he was into it like 10 years pretty much into his research. And he didn't go public till 1966. That's when I was about 12 years old. But we practiced with him for years and years and years before that. I remember being a little girl. I remember as far back as being 5 or 6, and already being one of his subjects with hypnosis and getting together with other family members and my siblings to be part of his experimentation and his research. So it's always been part of my life. And then I had the pleasure of traveling with him for over 20 years. So I had him by my side, and I also shared an office with him for more than that. So we sat side by side for years and years, and I tapped his brain and I picked his brain, and I really learned so much about the Silva method. And I live it. I love it. I live it. And I really feel like my life is a real expression of what it is to live the civil lifestyle. My husband is a real expression of what it is to live the civil lifestyle. And we have a very wonderful, very successful family. Our children and grandchildren are amazing. I mean, what can I say? Anyways, all that being said and done, I really want to be here for you. So I'm hoping that today, we can really make a difference in your practice in the Silva method so that you can really come to live the lifestyle, make Silva your own, and achieve all your dreams and beyond that. That really is really important to me. So I'm going to be looking from time to time to see about the questions that you may be having as I weave in how you can master the Silva techniques. Okay. So I'll get to Linda, to your question about the mirror of the mind, and thank you. I miss you a lot, and I'm happy that we're here together again. And then we'll go on and take some of those questions as they begin to appear. But the real topic here is mastering the Silva techniques, and there's a lot of techniques, as you well know. But there's a set of rules, if you will, or a set of things to take into consideration, practices to take into consideration that will help you achieve success with all of of your Silva techniques. I think a lot of times when people go into the live seminars and they go through a weekend or 2 weekends, whether they're doing the Silva Life system and or together with the Silva Intuition, which is the whole basic lecture series course, or the what we call the Silva method, people come up really overwhelmed with content, information, techniques, and then wonder, how do I apply this? And am I doing this right? And how do I know that I'm doing it right? And I think you're not going to advance further or move into your success if you're just already from the very beginning questioning, am I doing this right? How do I know I'm really at alpha? So, one of the things that I really want you to know is that you are doing it right. I think what happens is that when you're going through the training, whether it's in a live seminar or whether you're doing an audio program, which we have very comprehensive audio programs, that you go into such a deep inner state because you're experiencing guided meditations. Either your instructor is guiding you, so you're allowing yourself to let go and really deepen, and or you're listening to a guided meditation that's already pre-recorded, and as you listen to that, again, you're not in charge of your functioning, of your meditative experience. You allow someone else to guide you through the guided meditation. So the tendency is to go really, really, or very, very deeply within. Now, that's just part of your training. That's not the actual way that you're going to practice in your everyday living experience. What we do in the training, whether it's a live program, which is ideal, versus audio, but whether it's a live program or an audio training, the idea there is to deepen as deep as you can go and maintain some form of awareness. That's the main key. The technique is, how do I go inside? And how do I learn to do that? And then open that doorway into my subconscious so that I can rewire my subconscious so that it can express itself in a more wonderful, satisfactory, fulfilling living experience. Now, it's a really important statement there that you're going into your subconscious, because what we want to do and what we do in the Silva method is that we transform the subconscious into your inner conscious. Sub means below or beneath conscious awareness. So we don't want to be beneath a conscious awareness. We want to transform the subconscious into the inner conscious. And so by doing so, we can rewire the subconscious so that we can have, again, a greater, more fun living, or healthier, more fulfilling living experience. And that's the main thing that we want to do. And there's really only your way of doing it right. So what you experience during your training and during the whole process of when you go one meditation after the other, after the other, after the other, being guided into the inner depths of your being, into the slower brain frequencies, is that you're really opening up those doorways so you can have more awareness in what used to be subconscious dimensions and now are then your inner conscious levels, where then you can have more ability to manage your mind body experience. And it's really important that we do that, but do know that when you actually get that information and leave the training, whether it's live or on an audio program, that your experience upon practicing is very different, because alpha is the main thing that we want to emphasize. Although in the Silva method, you learn how to utilize very effectively your alpha and theta frequencies. But alpha, if you notice in the chart behind me, right there, you'll notice that the alpha frequency is right after beta. And your beta frequencies are the frequencies that are most related and associated with your outer experience that connects you to your outer world and incorporates the utilization of your physical senses in order to see, hear, taste, touch, and smell information that you impress on brain cells and allow you to maneuver yourself physically in this physical environment that we're familiar with. Most people on the planet know how to function at alpha in the outer conscious level, and they know how to function at delta, which is asleep. Very few people on the planet, even up to this day, can function in alpha, theta, alpha, beta, alpha, and theta with awareness. Most people don't have awareness of their alpha and theta frequencies. And you're lucky that you do, because they're functioning either consciously or unconscious when they sleep. You're functioning with your outer conscious level, and you're functioning in your inner conscious level, and when you enter sleep, in your unconscious levels. So our goal really in the Silva method is to give you more controls of your inner experience, and then utilize the tools that you have access to in your inner experience to achieve wonderful things in your life. And so it's really important that you come to understand that the training is very different in depth that you experience than your actual practice once you leave the training. But it's really important that you go through every mental exercise in your training. Now, I know many of you probably don't get headaches or don't have pain or don't have problems sleeping. And yet, I really do want you to experience every single technique: the sleep control, the energizing technique, the pain management technique, the mirror of the mind, all of them. The dream control. Maybe you're not interested in recalling your dreams, but when you have the ability to recall them, that's adding greater mind body management and greater inner self controls. So, the real reason that my father really wanted to make sure that everybody experienced all the techniques was, yes, he wants you to apply those techniques for the problems that they can resolve. But beyond that, that was even more important to him, was that you could develop mind body management and really unlock those doors to your subconscious and transform them into your inner conscious. Now, every single technique is going to have additional lessons besides the obvious ones. And that's where your mastering comes in. So, first and foremost, is that if you are wondering, am I doing this right? Rest assured that you are. You are doing it right. You might say, yes, but my mind wanders. That's fine. All of our minds wander. The idea is that for you to become aware, my mind just wandered, then bring it back and focus again on what you're working on. That's fine. We're only human. We have a very, very active, dynamic mind, and our brain functions in miraculous ways. And so, yes, it's going to go all over the map, but you just bring it back and you go back to focusing. Others might say, but I don't feel like I'm deep enough. That's right. You're not supposed to be deep when you function at alpha. Notice here on the chart behind me, beta is, like I said, connected to your outer conscious levels, and your electrical emissions that fall into cycles per second are very fast. You emit a lot of fast energy, electrical energy, the brain does. And so it falls into cycles per second or that has been labeled as beta. That's between 20, 21 cycles per second. That's quite fast. But the moment you close your eyes, your brain frequency is allowed to slow down, because the only physical sense that requires beta brain wave frequencies to operate it is the focused sense of sight. So when you have your eyesight focus connecting to your outer experience, your outer physical world, the brain frequency required to keep you connected to that outer physical world and your focused eyesight is beta. But the moment you close your eyes and you don't longer need to use your eyesight, or the moment you internalize your focus and you daydream and your eyesight is defocused and your main concentration is on the images that you're creating in your mind together with the thoughts or the emotions associated with that, then your brain frequency can slow down and right away it goes into alpha. Alpha is a very light, wakeful state of mind and frequency of brain. Light and wakeful. So if I simply close my eyes and I take a deep breath and calm myself, and I focus on images, on my thoughts, on my goals, on my future, on anything like that, then my brain frequency has probably already gone into alpha. The idea now is to stay there, maintain yourself at alpha as you're solving problems, looking for solutions, thinking of creative ideas and outcomes, setting your goals, things of that nature. And you do that together with your imagery, relaxed body, relaxed mind, and intention. And it's really simple. So when you say, I don't feel that deep, that's right. You're not going to feel that deep. The only time you're going to feel really deep is when you really then allow yourself to deepen, like you do when you're listening to an instructor guide you into a meditation, or when you listen to an audio program of a meditation and you let yourself go, and that you sometimes even forget what you heard. You lost awareness. I always think that when you lose awareness during your meditation and then come back, you've just opened the doorway to a deeper layer, a deeper level within you. And so you're expanding your ability to function in your inner conscious levels more and more with every meditation that you do. Now, mind you, so first of all, let's make sure that you understand that you are doing it right. Okay. So I hope that we're all on the same page and that we're clear with that. If you have any questions on whether you're doing it right, ask me right now. Let me look at what we have here. Ciao from Italy. Hello from Belgium and Bangladesh. How wonderful. Um, Took the original course in Laredo. That's wonderful to know, Mike. Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. We talk about the two scenes, Florida, Michigan. Okay. All right. Thank you. I love you too from Liverpool. All right. Well, then we have no questions here. All right. So then we're clear about are you doing it right? And there's no doubt about whether you're doing it right or not. Because going into your meditation, which we usually do or utilize a 3-2-1 method. And then once you are at level one, and I'll explain that, then you do a 10-1 countdown just to deepen within. The 3-2-1 method basically is real simple. The first breath, and you visualize the number 3, you were trained to do so during the course in the very beginning. And 3 always represented relaxing your body. And that's where the centering or exercise, or we also known as a long relaxation exercise, comes into play. An excellent exercise for you to practice frequently because you really want to pay attention and follow instructions as to relaxing every part of your body, part by part, and allowing your body, brain, and mind to recognize what it is like to be that deeply relaxed, to release and let go of tensions and pressures, to be so sensitive to your body that you feel a tingling sensation or a vibration or a sense of warmth caused by circulation. In the beginning, if you don't actually feel that because you're not that relaxed yet, then imagine what it would feel like and allow your imagination to help you achieve those deep, very deep levels of physical and mental relaxation. But the first breath is always to get the ball rolling. Let's relax your body. And you do that through releasing tensions and pressures and deep breathing. Breathing in through your nostrils, into your belly, and then exhaling through your nostrils or through your mouth. Full belly, exhale. Slow, deep, rhythmic breaths. The slower you go, the deeper you go, the more you're going to relax your body, send energy to your body and your brain, and the more you're able to stay or maintain your alpha and or later theta frequencies. So the entry is going to be relax your body, the number 3, or simply with a deep breath to do that. Relax your mind by thinking of passive and tranquil scenes with your second breath, which usually is associated with the number 2 or your second deep breath. So simply think of something that makes you feel relaxed, any kind of scenery, any kind of imagery that makes you tranquil is enough to help your mind and your body, especially your mind, relax. And then the third deep breath, usually associated with the number 1, which we refer to as your basic plane level, as you see there, can be just a nice deep breath to allow you to cozy in to that inner state. Now, by the time you take your third breath, when you get to number 1, if you're doing 3, 2, 1, you are going to have a slower brain frequency, depending on your practice and the kinds of points of reference you have established previously with other times you've practiced that are associated to depth, physical relaxation, mental relaxation. Those points of reference are for you to recall so that they can help you to get to that same depth physically and mentally again and again and again. So, depending on your practice, by the time you get to the third breath or the 111, your basic plane level, you could be at mid alpha, low alpha, high theta. We'll never know. We won't know because the only way that you'll ever know definitively would be if you were hooked up to an electroencephalograph. So, an EEG machine that measures brain frequency. But you know what? You don't need it. You don't need to go to that extreme. I always tell people when you begin your practice and then you begin to feel, gosh, better, more relaxed, more in control of my life, more in control of my thoughts, more in control of my emotions. I'm able to communicate more effectively. Oh, I'm able to wake up in the morning without an alarm clock. Oh, wow, my pain's gone away. Gee, I reached this goal or that goal. All those experiences, when you're using the Silva method, are directly related and associated to the changes you've made in how you think, believe, and behave. So when your thoughts have become improved by thinking more positively, when your beliefs are improved by having beliefs that open doors of opportunities, and your behaviors are improved because now you are doing in things or behaving in ways that lead to positive outcomes, those three things are directly associated to the outcomes you're experiencing in your life. So when things are getting better and better and better through time, there's definitely an association and a direct link, a connection to how you are now thinking, believing, behaving in an upgraded manner. So always know, what was I doing, and question, what was I doing or what did I do to lead to this outcome? What kind of depth did I experience in my last meditation that led to me reaching the goal? What kind of experience did I have internally that resulted in me being more calm in times where I typically would have been very nervous or upset, or I would lose my emotional state? And now I'm finding that I'm managing it more effectively. So, what's the difference that makes the difference now in your living experience? And when you know and you make a notation as to what is the difference, then that's a point of reference. So those points of reference allow you to recreate the special mind states and the inner depth, both physically and mentally, that lead to positive outcomes. And that's great value for you to make a note of those points of reference because you can duplicate your experience over and over again. And when you have found your own personal strategy, then you have found the code to your success. And that's really important for us to notice, okay? Because once you have that, then every technique can be very useful for you. And the idea behind the techniques is that we want to make sure that we make them work. And the most important thing to make as to how to make them work is going to be for you to initially follow the instructions exactly as they were impressed while you were first listening to the technique. So, you know how we explain, let's say, the centering exercise or relaxing, and we tell you how to go into the 3 to 1 method. We follow the technique exactly you're going to get to that same result over and over and over again. Maybe not quite as deeply as you did when you were being instructed and guided by an instructor or an audio program, but on your own, you're going to then note the difference between when you practice on your own versus when you're following a guided meditation or following an instructor's voice. Because when you practice on your own, that's the real practice. The other one was just training to open the doorways to your inner conscious levels and transform the subconscious into your inner conscious. That's training. But when you're actually practice on your own at home, that's the real experience. That's what you can expect to build on and grow from. Okay. So when you're doing that, make sure that we've got that intact, because then when you go through the techniques, follow the instructions. One of the first techniques is to go through the sleep control technique. Now, the sleep control technique, you need to follow it exactly as you were instructed to do so. Now, if you're having any challenges with the sleep control technique, ask me now, because I'm going to move on. Okay, we're going to leave that behind. But I also want you to practice the sleep control technique, even though you have no problem sleeping, because the sleep control technique teaches you how to manage your inner dialogue, your inner voice, how to become very familiar with that voice inside your head that is always there, that is either motivating you or putting you down sometimes, that is encouraging you or deflating you. And so we want that inner voice to be your best buddy, to be on your side at all times. And there's a certain pitch or pace or volume or tone that inner voice has, that when it has it in a certain way, it's very beneficial to relaxation and depth. But when you have it in another way, it works against you. So when it comes to the sleep control technique, notice that you're using imagery and you're using the quality of your voice and you're using a countdown to help you to achieve the inner depths. Now, countdown deepening exercises are programmed in your meditations from day one with the long relaxation or the centering exercise. They're the same thing. So when you're doing the centering exercise, you have a lot of programs that are instilled or installed in the exercise itself for deepening, for self-management, for being able to be more positive, for inner self-controls. And so the more inner self-controls or mind tools and mind controls you develop, the more you have control of your inner experience. And when you have control of your inner experience, you have greater control of your outer experience. We always need to remember that we are dualistic in nature. That means you are both spiritual and physical at the same time. And we want to blend both worlds and the benefits that you have by functioning in both worlds in order to have a more successful living experience. And that's really important for us to make a note of, okay? So sleep control will be a very boring technique when you apply it, but that's the idea. We want you to concentrate and focus primarily on drawing your circle with great precision, erasing, with precision, not to erase the lines. So it's a lot of detail work. You're going to write the big X first of all, just to get started and to get the ball rolling, so to speak. So once you draw your big circle, it doesn't have to be perfect. So don't get all too caught up in things like that, but do get more caught up on details. And so notice how being caught up in details, being more aware of your voice, noticing the visual aspect. Some of you might want to even raise your arm and hand and move while you're doing that to erase the X and the number without erasing the circle in the least. All these things are engaging you in a very dynamic way. That's why functioning at alpha is not that deep experience that you're so maybe used to when you go engage yourself, even physically erasing the X, erasing the numbers, being careful not to erase the circle in the least. When you're doing all these things, visualizing, imagining, hearing the voice, the auditory aspect of it, you're very dynamic. And alpha meditations are called dynamic meditations, and that's why you're very light in that sensation, and it's a very wakeful kind of feeling, not that deep kind of heavy feeling that you would experience when you're doing passive meditation, which is also called theta meditations. I hope I'm not talking on too many things, and I'm being clear, okay? So again, every meditation that you're going to do, every technique has its obvious reasons and purposes, but the more important ones are in the embedded lessons that are built in to the technique itself, like being able to become more aware of the inner voice and managing that voice. So if you're doing the clock technique and you write the number 100, it's better for you if you want to enter sleep, which is a deeper frequency of brain. As you can tell, you have to go through theta and then into delta in order to be into deep sleep. It's better for you to have the quality of voice that says 100, which is slow, deep, and the sound is also deeper. And then you say deeper as you write the word deeper to the right and outside the circle, and deeper. It's very different for you to say 100, deeper and deeper, than 100, deeper and deeper, 99, deeper, deeper and deeper. You're never going to get to sleep that way. That quality of voice is good for when you wake up in the morning, you want to get up and out of bed, but it's not going to help you to enter sleep because it's going to get you excited. But if you use that sleepy, slow, low voice, you will be asleep in no time. So when you focus on the details, you're not focusing on problems that you're having throughout the day, on issues you had at work, on the argument you had with your family, nothing like that. You're only focusing on the details of the technique, and that adds greater inner controls because you're developing better concentration, better attention, more mind management, and more body management. That's the real secret behind the sleep control technique. And yes, it will put you to sleep. Okay. So, any questions on that? Let me see here. We still have questions, but yeah, it says, how do you make your feet feel? Vanessa's asking. I said, they don't belong to your body with your imagination. Just kind of imagine if I didn't have feet, what would that feel like? Imagine having, no feet. And it's just, or making them feel like they're transparent. If I had no legs, if I had no hips, if I had no body at the end, it's like if I had nothing. My feet, ankles, calves, knees, shoulders, arms, and hands feel like they don't belong to my body. And all you're really experiencing is your oneness, your being, your inner self that is expansive and has no boundaries or no shape, nothing of the sort, and you feel that oneness with all else that is. So it might take a little experience, a little bit of practice, but just imagine if I didn't have any feet, what would that feel like? And again, it's only so that you can enter deeper inner states, more deeper mind state as well, and not focus so much on how your body is feeling, and not be less connected to the physical world and more connected to the subjective experience, which is unique to you. Nobody has a subjective experience quite like yours. Okay, similar, yes, probably, but not quite like yours. All right, we'll get to the mirror of the mind in a little bit. Again, how can I get into the theta level and program from there? Now, you cannot get into the theta level and program from there. That's why theta is called passive meditation. You can take your intention to theta, and while you're still able to think, because in theta, you cannot generate thoughts. You cannot generate images. You might be impressed with images, like a dreamlike experience, and it might move your awareness up, and you say, wow, what was that? But with the moment you begin to question, your frequency of brain has gone up into the alpha frequency. Alpha frequency seems to be where your biological intelligence, excuse me, your intelligence resides, where you can think, ponder, ask questions, where you can visualize, imagine, emote, emotions, feel, experience, energy, all those things that you can experience are experienced from your alpha frequency. That's where like your intelligence seems to thrive. The moment your frequency slows down more and you go into theta, it's passive. That's why it's called passive meditation. I know we always hear things from other programs, you go theta programming and theta meditations. Theta meditations are in reality are meditations that take you to that deep inner state where you can just be there, experience just being there, enjoying just thinking about nothing, relaxing, breathing deeply, and then just being part of that whole oneness with everything else. A passive mind, passive thought. So you're not active. So again, that's very healthy, very healing, but it's not what it's utilized for problem solving. The moment you begin to generate thoughts and activate your imagery and your emotions, your frequency, the frequency required to do that is alpha. So this just be real clear, but you can work together your alpha and theta frequencies. I can take my intention into deep states and say, when I come out of this meditation, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to be healthier, and allow your intelligence to run the show once you go into a passive meditation. Your intelligence is always there. It always wants you the best for you. It's always going to take care of you, whether you're aware of it or not. Just take it for granted that when I take this message of healing my body and allowing my body to heal itself, because I'm not interfering with the healing process with my doubts and my fears that are generated in the alpha frequencies, when I'm in theta, my body knows what to do to heal. Just go to theta and let your body heal itself. It knows what to do. And you take that intention. I know that my body will do it. It knows how to do best, and that's to heal. And then we give it some time just to heal by just being there. That in itself can be very beneficial. Okay. I hope that makes sense to you here. Um, there's a question that says, my videos have music in the background, and your dad's videos have a constant pulse. Some sounds in the beginning can be very beneficial for the deepening process. The pulsing sounds that my father has in the background, one of them was called a mind control sound, which is self mind control. And they started a very rapid frequency to sort of match the high beta frequency. But they start off fast and very rapid, and your brain frequency kind of is matching it, because your brain frequency has a tendency to match the sounds in its external environment. And you may have experienced that when you're listening to really danceable music, like, yeah, start dancing, and you like your body starts moving. And yeah, I mean, it's almost like you can't help it. It's just you're going to do that. And yet when the sounds begin to slow down, you kind of like, kind of move along and you slow down with that as well, and you enjoy it. And if you have something that's very relaxing, you just kind of feel calm and at ease. We've all had that experience. You have those points of reference. So when my father uses the mind control sound and it starts off fast, it doesn't stay that way. And he did a lot of research for that specific sound. Little by little, it starts to slow down. It's a mechanical sound, and it's also a metronome, and it's an electrical sound and a mechanical sound. And those two sounds begin to slow down little by little. And as they do slow down, your brain frequency wants to imitate it. And if you're doing that together with deep breathing and a relaxed body, it helps to slow down the brain frequency and takes you deeper into that internal state. At the end, and usually use that sound in the first meditations, like the centering exercise. At the end, that sound was just a clanking, very slow sound. Ka-dang, ka-klang, ka-klang. So slow that you were like totally immersed in that sound and totally very deep within. and more than likely at theta. And some people would drift into sleep. So they would be into deep theta or delta. And they normally would, at the end of the meditation, would open their eyes and say, I don't remember what I went through. But yet, every time we would say at the count of five, you will open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and healthy. By the time we said five, they would open their eyes, look around, and then say, like, what just happened? Because they had lost awareness, because they went so deep, probably into theta, where you have amnesia, basically. And those frequencies are really good for painless childbearing. If you can train yourself to stay at theta and have surgery, you can have painless surgery or dentistry. And that's where the frequency of brain goes when you have actual hypnosis and the hypnotist guides you into that very deep inner state. That's where they're taking you into theta, because there you don't question, you don't counter, you just accept and you just soak it in, and you are impressed with information that can make positive change happen in your life. So when you're during the meditation and using those sounds my father used to use, that was simply for training. Because once you trained yourself to go in there, then after the training, which is after the course, you no longer need to use the sound. If you like it, you can. It doesn't hurt to use it. If you like very relaxing music in the background, very monotone, kind of Baroque type music, that's fine, but you don't need it. You have everything within you to have success with every single technique that you go through in the Silva method. But it's a great question. So, again, that's really up to you. This is your course, this is your method. Once you've gone through the training, you modify it to fit your lifestyle, your needs, so that you can practice it every day in whichever way feels best for you. But the whole point is to practice it. I was with some friends of ours. My husband and I, we went to a fundraiser that we always support every year. And we invited some friends of ours to join us. And these friends were medical doctors. And they're slightly younger than we are. My husband's 70, I'll be 70 soon. And they're like in their early to mid 60s. And one of the wives was saying, oh, let her, she wore very short heels because, she loves to dance, but she can't because she has this little ache and discomfort and what have you. And then the other doctor said, well, I happen to have this, whatever. And when they all got done complaining about what was going on in their lives, I said, well, I don't know about you guys, but I feel pretty good. I'm ready to go out and dance all night. And they all just started laughing. And they're Silva graduates. That's the weirdest thing. And they don't practice. They took the course with me many, 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 many years ago. And one of the doctors who actually hired me to train his entire staff and all the doctors in that particular doctor's group says, and you practice every day? I said, every single day of my life, I practice every day. And he goes, I don't know if I have time to practice. And I said, you don't need time to practice. You just need intention. So sometimes I'll do a 10-second mini booster meditation, a Zat meditation. I go close my eyes, I go within, I connect with my goal, I picture my outcome, I imagine myself healthy, I experience myself healthy. That doesn't take but 10 seconds, 15 seconds or less, whatever time you have. As I go to sleep at night, I have time. You have to go through alpha to get to theta, which is your first step of sleep, to get into delta, which is deep sleep. And then you cycle up and down all night long. So your body, brain, and mind already know how to do this, but it does it without your awareness. What we're adding to the whole experience is awareness. And then add mindfulness to the experience, paying attention, and you make a huge difference in your life. When you wake up in the morning, you have to go through alpha to get to beta. Just pause for a couple of minutes, for heaven's sakes, and practice. Throughout the day, anytime that you need it, just zone in and out with that intention. And you are practicing what you've learned, modified to fit your lifestyle. And so it was quite interesting to see and hear the difference in someone who knows information and applies it, which is me, and someone who knows the information and doesn't apply it. And you see it. You see it in how they talk and how they act and their physical body and how they look. And it's really it's a really wonderful, remarkable experience to see that. So make it a lifestyle is what we all we want to do. Okay, let me see. Um, all right, so let's move on. All right. So now we've gone basically through just the one technique, and I know our time frame is coming, is limited. But in what you're doing with that first technique, you're going to master your Silva techniques by paying attention to the other things that you're learning along the way. When you go through the energizing technique, follow the technique exactly as it was programmed. Later on, you can modify it, you can change it. When you're doing the energizing technique, it takes 5 steps. Identify the problem, state your desired end result, lay out your plan, follow it, and then claim your desired results. I'm sleepy and drowsy. That's the problem. I don't want to be sleepy and drowsy. I want to be wide awake, feeling fine and energized. That's your laying out your plan. You follow it by saying, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, I'll open my eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine and healthy, energized. And then you follow the plan. 1, 2, coming out slowly. 3, at the count of 5, I will open my eyes, being wide awake, feeling fine and energized. 4, 5, eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and healthy and energized. And then you go about your business, but you follow those 5 plans. You say what you say in a very affirmative manner. You already recognize in the first technique that you can manipulate your inner voice. So you now want that voice as eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine and healthy and energized. That voice is going to help you to release the chemistry in your body that's going to energize you and keep you going for another few moments, another few hours, whatever you need. When it comes to the clock technique, I always use my mind. Always use my mind to awaken in the morning. And the beauty about the clock technique, which is probably one of the most important techniques that you might have, as insignificant as it may seem, is that it teaches you how to manifest a goal at a specific moment in time. Because you're saying to yourself, I want to awaken at 6:45 and I am going to awaken at 6:45. Again, that internal voice is going to be very affirmative. It's going to be commanding, and you're going to follow it more when it's very affirmative and commanding and saying, I think I want to wake up at 6:45 and I hope I wake up at 6:45. No, I want to wake up and I'm going to wake up, and that's it. You want to make sure that you're telling your intelligence, this is what we're going to do. This is what I'm going to require of you, and I expect you to comply. Then you visualize the clock exactly at the time that you want to awaken. And you can do an analog clock and move the hands of the clock to indicate exactly the time you want to awaken. And you say, this is the time I want to awaken, and this is the time I'm going to awaken. And or you can picture a digital clock and see the numbers changing until you reach the time that you want to awaken. And you say that statement to yourself, or those statements to yourself, in a very affirmative, commanding way. And then you can picture yourself waking up exactly at that time. And the goal is not to wake up close to target, it's to wake up on target. So in the beginning, you might experiment and you'll notice, wow, I almost woke up on time and I'm happy with that. Don't be. I know it feels good to wake up almost exactly the time that you wanted to, but that's not good enough for this particular technique. The idea is to wake up exactly at that time. So you might want to experiment. Once you begin to wake up, let's say at 6:45, experiment with 6:40, 6:43, 6:59. And exactly at that time, expect to awaken. When you're doing that, and it should take you just a few times of practice, when you're doing that, then you are manifesting a goal in time at exactly when you want it. Wow. I think that's profound, because what other things do you want to manifest exactly on time? A raise, a health issue, elimination of a tumor, to find a relationship or your soulmate? I mean, what? Happiness? I mean, anything. I'm talking a lot and I'm not drinking enough. Feedback. Anyways, and so that's really important for us to recognize. So again, those are the three primary techniques that we learn: sleep control, awake control, and energizing, or the clock technique and the energizing technique. In when you're first beginning the Silva method. Why? Because you have to do a lot with stress issues that keep you awake, or drain you, or that make you oversleep and things of that nature. And then once you move on, there are other techniques that you want to pay attention to, where you can incorporate the quality of voice, the sound of your voice, the pitch, the pace, all those different things, the quality of your visual experience, what you're picturing, and the clarity of those images that will come with practice when you move into like the mirror of the mind, and or other techniques that all require imagery, and in this very dynamic way of functioning in your meditations, which is what my father discovered: dynamic meditation. Prior to his discovery, everybody would train you to go as deep as you could possibly go. And that's where we have transcendental meditation, passive meditation, very deep states, inner states of meditation, where you're just passively there without doing anything. My father realized there's another whole group of frequencies and brain function that really uh, develop greater creativity, more health and energy, problem solving, more, just give you the ability to find more solutions. I mean, just everything. And that's what he discovered in dynamic meditation. So, okay, I don't want to like take it on too much further in this way, but I do realize that we have some questions. And the techniques that we want to master are sleep control, awake control, and the energizing technique. And then we have and the sleep control, weight control. And then you're going to have the mirror of the mind technique, which again incorporates imagery, positive thinking, and then begins to engage your energy, the kind of energy of desire, belief, and expectancy to make the outcomes more realistic. And then the whole idea of living out your outcomes. That is going to be one of the most powerful things that you can do. So when you're doing the mirror of the mind, yes, go through the simple step one, then which is visualize the blue frame and the white frame. Then step two is to bring in some of those uh, subjective energies of desire. This is what I desire. I believe I can make it happen, and I expect it to happen. And then the third step is to do the imagery, the emotions, emotionally infuse them, and to step into your outcome image and experience it fully and completely as done. And that's the one you always focus on every time you do a mini booster meditation to connect with your outcome. You don't have to picture anymore. All you need to do is get into your inner state and experience the outcome. Like, it's done. I've already achieved this outcome. And do that as often as you can throughout the day until you make it happen. Whether it's 5 seconds or 10 seconds, that counts. It works. It counts as a meditation. Okay. So then we do those. And of course, we're going to go into dream control and the glass of water. They all use mind body management. They sometimes use an outside factor like the water that you energize to think of a solution to a problem that you have in mind, and uses a process of incubation. Because let's make a note that you have so much information already impressed on your brain cells that is there forever, that you began to impress on brain cells even before birth. You have tons of knowledge and wisdom already, and experience. We just get to be so selective as we get older, and we only pick and choose and remember things that are strongly impressed. But the information is in there. So when you use a glass of water technique and use the water as the medium to go into your body, to stir up or release information that's already impressed on your brain cells, because you're drinking this water and you're saying to yourself, this is all I need to do to find the solution to the problem I have in mind. And you picture the problem and you set the half glass of water by your bedside. That command that you just gave yourself, that suggestion, you're taking into your inner most deepest levels and frequencies of brain, where you can release information through the process of incubation. You're going to sleep on it. Let the information surface and show itself to you in a dream, or as a flash of insight, or as a memory, or as a bit of information that you might be impressed with, or something that you attract your way. But you're not going to get those experiences until you practice and you look beyond the actual technique itself. You're looking at what's really at play, whether it's mind body management or you training your brain to release chemistry that's going to help you to energize yourself. And if you can energize yourself, you can release energy, or excuse me, you can release chemistry that that you have the ability to release in the most magnificent pharmaceutical company that's built into your brain already. You can create any chemical that you need to heal, to go to sleep, to energize yourself, to whatever it might be. And that's where the mind body management comes in. And that happens with how you manage your inner voice, the imagery that you have, the intention, and the energy that you put into the meditations and the practice that you do in order for you to become more proficient and more effective with your outcomes, and never settle for anything but making the technique work. So when you apply a technique and it doesn't work for you, or you say, it didn't work for me, then you right away say, but why? Why is it not working for me? What do I need to tweak? What do I need to change? Is it my voice? Is it my inner state? Is it that I was tense and I need to relax my body some more? So let me go and re-experience the centering exercise. Am I being honest with myself as to what the real problem is? Are my images matching the problem that I have or what I desire to achieve? So ask questions so you can then really get to the outcome. So if there's a technique that's not working for you, then ask me, because there's a way for you to release the either the energy, the chemistry, or the actual how the door, or to open the doorway to allow the energy to flow in or out and make that technique work. And sometimes all it takes is for you to do it again and again and again to convince your body, brain, and mind that you're going to win, and nothing is going to stop you from making sure that you succeed with that technique. Sometimes you have that inner voice in the back saying, no, you'll never wake up at 6:45 on your own. You need an alarm clock. And so that voice in the background, you need to recognize and say, oh, shut up, tell it. Just move away, because me and my intelligence who's cooperating with me, we're going to make it happen. And you stick to your guns until you make it happen. And then that's where congruency comes in. You're thinking, you're believing, you're behaving, your images, your emotions, your intentions, your expectations, everything is congruently working with you and for you to get to the outcome. I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right. Let me just go back and let me just look and see the questions here. When you do the blue frame, white frame, do you just go straight to the white frame after you've done the blue frame once? Yes. So the whole idea behind the mirror of the mind is that once you identify the problem image, don't go back to it. You've already left it. Because remember, when you do the blue frame, you are projecting into your present, in your mind, into the present situation, into your present, the situation that you're experiencing. I have this health problem. I have this issue. I have whatever it is. And that goes into the blue frame mirror that's directly in front of you, past your eyelids and slightly above the horizontal level of sight, about 20 degrees. So you're picturing you're picturing the problem or your current reality. You study it. But that current reality, you are transforming. That same mirror, you are transforming when you move the mirror slightly towards your left, change the color of the frame to white, and then project into the white frame mirror the outcome or solution that you desire, and you say, this or better than this. Because right now I believe this is all I can achieve, but who knows? There could be something better. Allow that to be the case. So I'm open to this or better. And so once you picture the outcome image, you no longer have the problem. So you no longer go back to the problem. You just feed energy. You just nurture. You just energize the outcome in it, image over and over and over again. And then when you have that, that's the simple step one of Mirror the Mind. When you're doing that in future meditations, add energy. This is what I really desire. Belief. I know. Belief is knowing. I know I can make this or something better happen, and expect it. Expectancy. And I expect this to happen. Give yourself a time frame by the end of the month, in 3 weeks, by that, by whatever. Okay. And then that's the second phase or second step of Mirror the Mind. And then when you're moving on to the third step, you're still working with the outcome image, only this time you're including everything, including the subjective energies of desire, belief, and expectancy. And you've already have a really beautifully crafted or designed outcome image. Now you step into it and become one with it and experience it. Allow your body, brain, and mind to experience the outcome, because that's going to be the fastest way for you to change how you think, believe, and behave, because and become that new you that allows that outcome to be a real tangible possibility. Okay. You cannot achieve that future outcome if you remain the same you that you are today. The same you that you are today can only create what you're experiencing right now. It requires you to upgrade your thinking, believing, what you believe in, and your expectations. You have to upgrade, your behaviors. Think, believe, and behave. You have to upgrade those thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors in order to continue to evolve yourself, unfold yourself in the direction of better and better and better through time. Okay, that you and those images is a future you, and that future you is already thinking differently, believing differently, and behaving differently and in a much better way than the present you is. So when you step into it and you experience it fully and completely, you're teaching your body, brain, and mind to be that good, that quality of good, in order to open the door to achieve that, and then be able to achieve bigger and greater things according to what you desire in life. Okay. Hope that makes a difference. All right. So yes, you only do the blue frame once, no matter if you're doing the first step of Mirror the Mind, second step, or third step. All right. How can we solve health issues? If you're asking how can I solve health issues, what do you think? What does it require to solve health issues? I know what is required of me, and that is to eat healthy, think positively, believe in things that open doors of opportunity, behave in ways that are going to lead to health. So I exercise, I eat, like I said, I eat healthy, I meditate, I I solve problems, I release myself of stress, I manage it effectively day in and day out. I do whatever is required of me. I mean, I do it all. So, what does it take for you to do that? Now, if you do have a health issue, then you use imagery, you use whatever you have at hand, all the tools that you have, you're going to apply. When I'm not feeling all that great, I'm going to do my meditations. I always do anyway, but I'm always going to include imagery and set a goal to get better. I use the energized glass of water. If for whatever reason I'm given medication, I'm going to energize the medication for it to be more effective and make me feel healthier. I'm going to talk to my body and tell my body to work with me as if it was a separate entity. Let's work together on this. Let's make sure, that we move in the right direction towards health. Or I ask my body, what do you need of me in order to get healthy again? And you'll be surprised that your body can tell you, I need for you to sleep more. I need for you to stop drinking or doing these drugs. I need for you to get up and walk at least a mile a day. I need for you to, your body will tell you, you know why? Because your intelligence is guiding everything, and your intelligence knows everything. So, in a nutshell, you already know how to solve this. When you're asking me, how can we solve health issues? If you don't know that by now, then I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you know what to do. You know if you're overeating. You know if you're under exercising. You know if you're drinking too much or doing too many drugs. You know if you're mistreating yourself. All we do with the Silva method is give you the tools and techniques to enhance all the positivity in your life to make sure that you secure that healthy future as you get older and move through time. And that's the main thing. And if you're not practicing it, that's on you. It's not on Silva. It's not on me. That's totally on you. So I think you already know the answer to that. Let me see here. Other questions. Um, ah, mostly thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then here, I've been programming 3 times a day. I'm on the Mirror of the Mind for the past week, but there's been no insights or changes. What could I be doing wrong? Anytime that you're applying the mirror of the mind is magic. Okay. But if it's not working magically for you, then anytime that you do the mirror of the mind, what you want to make sure you do is go through your checklist of ingredients that secure successful achievements. And that is, what do you desire? Or is what you're programming for really what you desire? Is that your biggest desire? Okay, fine. Second, and this is probably the most important question to ask yourself, do I believe that I can achieve what I'm programming for? Because if there's the slightest bit of doubt in you, you're probably not going to achieve it. So make sure that what you're programming for is something you totally believe that you can achieve. And if it's a big, big goal, then break it down into smaller steps that are believable to you. So, oh yeah, well, I can believe I can reduce 5 pounds versus 100 pounds. It's really hard for me to believe and picture myself at 100 pounds less, but I can picture myself at 5 pounds less. And when I achieve that, let's say in a month, I can do another 5 pounds, another 5 pounds. If you do 5 pounds every month, by the time you know it, by the end of the year, that's 60 pounds, for heaven's sakes. It is believable. And every time you achieve a goal, then you increase your desire, belief, and expectation of future achievements. You follow me? And the other ingredient is, do you really expect it to happen? Because if you do, you're going to walk the talk. If you want to quit smoking, you're going to get rid of cigarettes. If you want to reduce your weight, you're going to cut down on your caloric intake. If you want to tone your body, you're going to do the exercise. I mean, let's face it, it's not going to fall in your lap magically. You have to do the do. You're dualistic in nature. It's not just about what you think, believe, behave, and picture. That's all subjective. You have to back it up with actual physical engagement. Okay. The other thing is what you're visualizing as a current reality, the problem, actually what it is. Sometimes we lie to ourselves. Sometimes we kind of like, jade ourselves into thinking that's it's something else when you really know that it's something deeper than that. So be honest with yourself when you're visualizing the problem. And again, let what you're imagining as the outcome really reflect what you truly desire. Is what you desire more money, or is it what you desire to pay off the house or to send your kids to college? That's more important than I need more money. I want more money. So is what you really desire health, or is it because you want to live longer to help raise your grandchildren and be a relevant person in their life? I mean, what's the real why that's really fueling what you're working towards? And then the other thing is the feedback. The feedback that you're getting here, Maria, is that you're not getting any movement. So something what you desire, believe, expect, what you're visualizing or you're expecting, or you're imagining, is not giving you the feedback that you want. So something has to be changed in those ingredients that I'm telling you about so that you can change the feedback and allow the door to open to achievements to happen. And then you need to be really persistent and congruent. You have to be congruent and consistent in your practices. You got to do it every day. You got to pitch every day, and you have to be very positive and proactive. Only positive thoughts, only proactive behavior, moving towards your goals. So all these things are really, really important. And then you're going to be persistent. You have to persist. Keep it going. Keep it going. But tweak and tweak and tweak. Something about what you're doing right now has to be tweaked, even if just the slightest bit. So, and the most thing that you want to focus on is it believable to me? And once it's totally believable, boom, you're going to make it happen. Okay. So I hope that makes a difference for you. Um, Is it okay if I fall asleep a little bit? It happens less often, but sometimes I get so relaxed. Is that okay? It's okay. You probably need to sleep. But if you really have something that you're really, really, really working on, then you don't want to fall asleep because then that means you're not working on it so much. So, what I would recommend is sit, don't get too comfortable, and don't get into your bed, for example, because once you get into your bed and close your eyes and take a deep breath, it's like you're going to go to sleep. So your body is going to go through that pattern and move into that pattern before it stays awake in a meditation, because that's what it's been used to doing all its life. So I recommend you sit down, don't get too comfortable, but comfortable enough to just have an erect body. Your hands can be palms up or palms down, your head slightly tilted, and then just relax and then stay in this position. Because if you start moving and get so deep that you start bopping your head, you'll bring yourself back out and get back into a wakeful state of alpha and continue with your programming. But yes, it is okay to go to sleep. Yeah, again, your body probably needs it. Um, when you use the second screen or the third screen method, and when do you do the second screen and third? Okay, the mirror of the mind basically uses two screen or two images, two mirrors. The problem that is transforming to solution. That's when you don't know how you're going to get to the outcome, but you know that you can achieve it. You believe in that. So this is where I am right now, but this is where I want to be. That's when you use the mirror of the mind, which is two scenes basically. The three scenes is when you have a problem and you say, "This is my problem." And the second scene, which is 15 degrees from the first one, just slightly towards the left, which is the future subjectively. When you move slightly towards the left and in the second scene, that is, this is what I'm going to do to get to the outcome. Okay. The outcome is a third scene. So when you're really working with a three scenes technique, you spend let's say you're doing a 15-minute meditation, you spend about a minute or two. I would say it's just about a minute in going over the problem situation in the first scene. Once you identify the problem, you move your awareness towards the second scene. You say, "This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to exercise a little bit more, or I'm going to take this medication. I'm going to drink more fluids. I'm going to reduce my caloric intake. I'm going, whatever it is." You're doing that and you're picturing that for maybe up to 12 minutes. You're picturing all the things that you're going to do to achieve your outcome. And as you're picturing it, you're getting better and better and better. And to the point where you move to the third scene, which is 15 degrees from the second one, and that's your final outcome. So one is used like the mirror of the mind when you're not sure how you're going to get to the outcome, but you know what you want. And the three scenes technique is mostly used when you're going to do something to get to the outcome. I hope that helps. Okay. Um, Over time, do your counselors remain the same, or can you request extra counselors for specific needs? Remember that the counselors you create the counselors as geniuses in every field. So you really don't need more than just one counselor that is a representation not only of your higher self and in your intelligence, the yin, the yang, the female, male part of you, the positive, the negative, whatever it might be, however you want to view it. It's an expression of your highest intelligence, your higher intelligence that has a connection to all information and is a genius in every field. So you really, again, don't need to change your counselors. But again, this is your practice. This is your method. This is your life. I always say, do whatever you intuitively feel you need to do in order to succeed. So if for you feel a need to bring in another specialist in your mind that you consider a specialist, someone who you respect, admire, and appreciate from that you've read about or whatever, then do so. Invite them into your laboratory, have a conversation with them, have a meeting with them, pick their brain, if you will. Ask them for guidance and help, and your counselors and this additional person can be there with you, and y'all can have a brainstorming session if you wanted to. All right. How can I get into theta level programming and program from there? We already talked about that. You recently purchased a 20-day Silva method. Which program should I purchase next? Life system, intuition, or manifesting? I think always the very first program you want to focus on is the civil life system. And I think gives me a time for me to say to all of you that I'm going to be offering a program soon. It's called the Silva Master Mentoring Program. And in that program, we're going to hang out together for 30 days. Now, I know I'm not doing live seminars anymore, and I'm doing less and less kind of trainings. And I really feel, as one of the top experts in the Silva method, if not the most expert in the Silva method, I really feel like I owe this to you. I owe you my time and my knowledge. I want you to pick my brain. I want you to succeed more than anything else. So we're going to do this 30-day training, and it's going to incorporate the Silva method, the Silva intuition, and Silva manifesting. And I will offer you all these three programs that you will have in audio. You'll have these programs. Plus, I will be there for you once a week in a call like we're having right now, like a Zoom call. It's a very intimate group. I don't plan to have any more than 15 people because I really want to give you all my attention and give you a personal guidance as you need it along the way. Again, it's called the Silva Master Mentoring Program. It's very limited space. You may have seen an advertisement about it already. I don't know, but we're probably going to advertise it soon. And it's going to probably launch in the next couple of weeks or so. But it's 30 days together. And every day you'll have a platform where you can ask me questions. So every day I will check in on you, and I will either give you a recorded guidance, or I will write you some guidance. And once a week we will meet and we will talk with each other as to what you need from me and how I can guide you for you to succeed. So when you're asking me, what do I take next? I would say civil life system is always first. And or you have the Silva Master Mentoring Program that's going to have Silva life system, Silva intuition, and Silva manifesting. So, take it from there. Okay. Let me see. Other thing. Thank you. You're welcome for some of the techniques that we've worked with. Yes, this recording or this webinar is being recorded. So please come back to it. If you can't do it yet, you will have a recording, a copy of this recording, and you will be able to go through the information over and over again if you need to. So go back to work, do whatever you have to do, and come back and listen to it again, okay? Somebody else is asking, how can I get guidance from my counselors? I have asked them to speak louder, to write, and even change counselors. How can I really listen to them? Remember, the counselors is you. They're a part of your inner self, of your higher self. They're a reflection of who you are. So who's not talking to who? I would think that when you're saying my counselors aren't talking loud enough or what have you, maybe you need to add more trust in your inner guidance. Your counselors are a personification of your inner guidance, and they are tools to allow the flow of information to exist. So you might want to meet up with your counselors, go over them, what they look like. Again, shake their hands, embrace them, give them a hug, whatever it might be, and go over the process again and again, and say, I'm going to trust in what you're going to say to me, and begin to develop that relationship of trust, so that you can trust in your inner guidance and have them verbalize the inner voice, the inner guidance, to be a verbalization of that guidance, and almost even a sounding board for you whenever you need to toss an idea to them and go back and forth. You just need to keep on practicing with them. Okay, don't give up. Be persistent. That's one of the key ingredients here. Okay, so I know that we're close to closing here. I know I've gone way over, but we did start late. And let me see. Another question here. Great, great, great. Okay. Do remember that? Oh, excuse me. It's not even 30 days. Now that I think about it, the program that we're going to offer, the Silva Master Mentoring Program, is 3 months, 90 days. Now, if you don't change and improve your life and reach your goals in 90 days, I will give you back your money, but you have to go through the entire program with me, be on board, check in with me, and I will make sure that you get the tools that you need to succeed. 90 days is a long time. We're talking about 3 months of hanging out together, and you'll have my full attention. And that's why it needs to be a really intimate group because I really want to make sure that I give you all my best and that I can be of great value to you. And I really hope to see you and experience you succeeding. And that's really the most important thing to me. So, yes, 12 weeks, 3 months. 90 days. Okay. So this move in that direction. But if not, go ahead and do it on your own and then and start with a civil life system. All right. So here, Patty says, thanks for everything. And then and Rob says that pretending that the counselors were talking to them got them to work much better for them. So pretending, and that's why I even told my little 3-year-old, I always say, pretend that you're going to do this, pretend that you're going to do that, and it always seems to work better. Let me see. Donna says 90 days. Yay! Where can I sign up? And I think your Irina will get to you, and she'll let you know that where you can sign up. Yes, it's going to be amazing. I'm so looking forward to it, and I feel like this is a really great way for me not only to give you everything I've got but also to document a lot of what we're going to be going through. And it's going to be an intimate group. It's a private group. It's only going to be who shows up for this, no more than 15. And again, we'll be able to connect with each other, with one another, and with me every single day. All right. Guys, I know Francisco asked about the Spanish versions, and I feel like I know we get questions about the Spanish versions often, but I don't know if it's often enough for us to change our whole platform into Spanish as well. And I just hope that maybe many of you can follow me, even though your primary language is not English. I'm hoping that you can follow with me and be able to move forward in the best way possible. Guys, I know that there's so much content to talk about, and we can't possibly cover it in an hour, hour and a half. But I hope to be back again, hopefully in another month or so, to reunite with you guys and be with you and answer your questions. So I think better than trying to cover all the techniques from now on moving forward, next time we announce a gathering like this, let's make it where you have your questions ready and I can fill in the blanks for you and help you to build confidence with your silver tools and techniques, make it a lifestyle, and more than anything else, succeed. All right, guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you for having me be part of your day today. And I will come back. So no worry, Minnie. I will be back and we'll hang out together. All right. See you guys soon. Thanks for being here. Love you guys. And I look forward to, um, hanging out with you. And hopefully you'll be part of the Silva Master Mentoring Program. Bye, guys. See you soon. I think we're going to say adios.